I started campaigning for presidential candidates in 1992 when I was campaigning for Raila Odinga and as a Kikuyu, and Matiba was the opposite candidate. Anytime I went to that side of the country, they would block roads. They would be told there is somebody who is a Kikuyu not campaigning for Matiba, but campaigning for Odinga. But when I get to where the roads are blocked, they see me, they say, oh, it's SK. Okay, we'll remove there. So they remove them and I go on. In 2022, there was no big deal because Raila had joined Kibaki to compete in a presidential election with Uhuru, and it was a Nisia election for Kibaki. Then it came to 2007. 2007. When Raila Odinga and the current President Ruto were presidential candidates against Kibaki. And again, Kibaki is a Kikuyu, and I happen to have been campaigning with for Raila everywhere in the country. That always gave a huge, and now that I'm going to mention, Betty, why she's a senator, is because she was charged by Mrs. Macharia to be in all those road shows and campaign, always to make sure that I'm well fed. Then in 2017, 2012. Oh, 2012. Is it 2012?
2012.
No, the one that Kibaki won. 207 against Raila. 207. Kibaki won, and we had data, complete data, that it's Raila who had won the election. I know some people will run away here, but let them run away, because we agreed with the Getahi. I'm speaking to the soul of Getahi. Here is only the body. And we had agreed whoever dies first will reveal this information for the country. So that's why I'm doing it. Our data was showing Raila had won with 1.8 million votes, and I was picked from my house at night, and all the returning officers from Mount Kenya region were held somewhere, and their return forms taken, and I was taken to my office. I found some people, I'm not going to mention their names, and we changed all those figures, and Kibaki won the election against him. I'm not going to mention about 2013 election, which again was Uhuru, or 2012 to 2013. Again, I campaigned for Raila, and Royal Media had already started then, and Inoro TV and Citizen TV were switched off in the whole of Mount Kenya region, but that could not make me change my belief in Raila, because Raila was left to me by his father. Then we came to the election of 2022. 2017, before 2022. In the election of 2017, it was Raila against Uhuru and Ruto at that time, the current president. We learned that the register had been changed. You keep on pressing me, I won't stop. The register has been changed for voters. When you are registered a voter, you have your fingerprint, you have your photograph, and you have full names. That some names, they have taken some IDs from the death register, and they have the names, but they don't have a photograph. That's how Raila got beaten but remember, Malaga codified discrepancies and drew away the election. And Raila said he's not going to repeat the election with the IBC being not changed. So obviously it was Uhuru and Ruto. They won the second round, the repeat, easily. Then I want to mention, because all this is in our records, about the election of 2022. We went to Naivasha to plan for the election of Raila as a candidate. Again, remember, it is Uhuru against Raila, and I'm campaigning for Raila. And at Naivasha, I tried to explain that the register that is going to be used has fake voters, but Raila was so impatient, he stopped me from explaining. But these 4 commissioners that who resigned in the end or were fired, they came to my house and I showed them how the register is not true. But that's how, obviously, again, and you remember Musando, that's how the votes have been put in. And now I come to 2022 election, whereby I try to convince Raila that the voter register that is going to be used is not proper, and they should give it to us, even if we are going to be his agents and organize the agents. He didn't think so, and because of the handshake with the Uhuru, he thought it is a free flow. Just for jokes, 2022 election comes. It's Raila against Ruto. They were saying we have deep states, and Ruto would tell them which deep states you have, because Ruto knew exactly how the extra votes will be put it doesn't matter. You know, I'm 82 years. If I get kidnapped or hijacked, 84. It doesn't matter. Kano has gone and he was younger than me. So we must just tell this, because I want to tell President Ruto, and it's good that Raila is here, if he wants to leave this country, good, because he's the president and we cannot do anything, yeah? Whether he won the election or he didn't win, he's the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. But the only thing that can help us is to make sure that a new register of voters is created. If election comes before I pass on, like mutahi, in the next 2.5 years or so, so that all Kenyans can cast votes, and each vote will, even if I lose, he loses, at least he will leave a good country that counts votes, and each vote. So, my fellow Kenyans, this is what I would ask for President Ruto to do for us, to have a new voter register, and to make sure that the next election, whoever gets elected will be elected by Kenyans by casting votes. So, Mama Gashi, in all this election that I have campaigned for Raila throughout the country in road shows and so on, including the Kikuyu lads, where sometimes we would be even beaten, but Mama Gashi was always there in those vehicles. So even in this last election, for her to become a senator, in fact, the Montet wrote me a letter saying, how wonderful are you, SK? You could have convinced Raila to appoint you senator, but instead you selected our daughter to become senator. So that's how Betty became a senator. So life has been all this time that we, Muranga group, we always used to go there during Christmas as families. Yeah. Yes. And we would stay there before Christmas Day until New Year's Day. And we would get enough goats from the auction in Baringo, and we would get all of them enough to eat. There is somebody who calls all these ladies my wives. He's still there. He's there. Raila and SK Macharia, former managing director of Nation newspaper. Anytime I get invited anywhere, he says, and you go with your wives. They are all called my wives. What is Waja? Waja, her husband died this year. 208. And because she is part of this family, we have never stopped. He was the computer manager. In fact, I remember when we changed the votes for Raila, he called the managing director, Ashira, because he was in the control room, and he said the chairman is with some people in the office and he's giving us figures to change. And what should we do? And Washida said, if he's the chairman, then there is nothing you can do about it, you obey. You can keep on hitting me, but it's better to tell the truth. I told you my age. So Murang'a group, Getahi always, anytime he found a chance, he would come to Murang'a. From you people, I heard you speak here. He would come to Murang'a and he would enjoy him because he was always close and he was on call all the time. So, you know, I can even tell you as a last thing to say that Royal Media was started because of Raila's father. I was paying for all the commercials in KBC for Raila's father with against Matiba. But the commercials for Odinga will not be shown, and it's me who has paid. After the election and Moi came back, I went to the managing director of KBC and I told him to return my money. And he said, no, we don't return money for commercials that did not air. I said, no. You have to either return him the money or you give me a license to go and set up my own radio and television so that nobody else will ever do this to me again. And for him to kick me out of the office, he told me go and write to the office of the president. And I got a reply. I did that. I got a reply, one line, that you cannot be allowed to broadcast private radio and television. Then I went to court, and after 4 years I got a court order that I can actually be issued with a license by late Macau and Wako, who was the AG then. And when they refused to issue the license, I went back to court to put them to jail for contempt. And in the end, they went to speak to President Moi. And Moi said after they were told they are going to jail, Moi told me, I was called to State House and I was told, why do you want to take my ministers to jail? I said, because they have been told to give me a license to broadcast private radio and television, and they have refused. He asked me whether I would join KANU. I was in ODM at that time, and I said yes. Are you going to support me in the election? I said yes. When I went home, then Macau was told to go and give me a license. So we drove from State House, and nobody has ever been given a broadcasting license. We asked ourselves, how do you write it? I told him, give me a piece of paper. I wrote, I refer to your application, dated this and this. This letter constitutes the only license you require to broadcast private radio and television. He typed the letter, and his secretary typed the letter. The PS called Adele, was called. He signed the letter. That's how Royal Media started.
Shukran sana. Mimi tunajua mambo, kazi ya siasa sio kazi rahisi. Mimi nasema wanasiasa wanapropoka tu hapa na pale, lakini sio rahisi. Mtu ajitokeze aende kufanya kazi kwa wananchi. Sasa ndio maneno mengi zaidi SK amesema, sitaki kuongeza mambo SK amesema. Siku hizi naona huyo kijana wengine kutoka Murang'a anasema tu ukitaka kuwa rais kuwa na Gachagua na Kalonzo. Wewe vile nimetoka bwana. Poa kabisa. Nchi hii inaweza kuchomeka ikiwa kama watu hawajihadhari sana. Unajua hii demokrasia tunajenga katika taifa letu, tumetoka naye mbali. Zamani ilikuwa ukisema tu ngwe ndani, ngwe ndani. Wakati ile ambaye simba alikuwa na meno na makucha, hiyo simba tuling'oa meno, hata makucha tukakata. Sasa hivi tuko na simba kibogoyo. Haikuwa rahisi. Wakati ile ilikuwa kama umeonekana tu wewe ni mtu ambaye atafuati nyayo, unashikwa tu na mtu anaenda weka sahihi, waziri wa mambo ya usalama. Hiyo inatosha kuweka yeye jela Kamiti au Shimulatewa au Naivasha kwa miaka mingi zaidi. Kuna mambo ya mahakama. Siku hizi hata kuweka wewe kwenye remand ya polisi huwezi kuweka wewe zaidi ya masaa 48. Yale yote haikukuja kwa njia rahisi. Imekuja kwa jasho na damu ya Wakenya. Na tulikuja mahali papo sisi tuko hapo. Sasa tulipolazimisha hao kukubali tuwe na mfumo wa siasa yenye vyama vingi, haikuwa rahisi. Tukawa na uchaguzi mwaka 92, mliona matokeo yake. Halafu ikaja ile ya 97, mliona matokeo yake. Hiyo 97, mimi na hakika kama hawange ongeza siku ambayo waliongeza kwa sababu ya mvua, tulisema na mvua, Kibaki alikuwa ameshinda. Kibaki ndiye alishinda hiyo uchaguzi. Uchaguzi ambayo imekuwa naitwa free and fair tangu tulete hii mfumo wa siasa yenye vyama vingi ni 2002. Hiyo peke yake. Hizi zingine zote unajua SK amwambia nyinyi, SK amwambia nyinyi. Kwa hivyo mimi usimwambie mimi nataka mimi nishinde. Mimi sashinda mara mingi. Sijatangazwa tu. Mimi najua mwaka juzi tulikuwa nasema funguni 7. Sisi funguni 7. Maana tulikuwa najua ndani ya 7 kuna ukweli. Walifungua. Lakini muhimu ni kwamba Kenya ni mkubwa kushinda sisi zote. What's important is democracy is a project. It's not an instant coffee that you brew and drink at the same time. What is important that Kenya remains together. Hakuna haja ya kusema Raila asimame 1927 kama 27 hiyo Kenya itafika pale kama imechomeka. Kenyans need to live between now and 2027. It's now. Gharama ya maisha ni juu sana ya Wakenya. Wakenya wanaumia. Bei ya chakula iko juu, ushuru iko juu sana. Mambo hii yani ufisadi imepanda. Ndio sababu tukaweka ile mkataba, tumeweka 10-point agenda. Na hiyo 10-point agenda sio usalata. Wewe unataka tufanye namna gani? Kama kuna njia nyingine, unasema Ruto aende. Aende alafu nani ifanyike? Mbele pale Ruto aende aweke Gachagua. Sasa yule aende, Kindiki aende, abaki pale. Baadaye Kindiki aende, weke mtu mwingine. Hakuna haja. 2027 itafika. Lakini Wakenya wako na shida, mpaka ya shida yatatuliwe sasa, sio siku nyingine. Hatuwezi kupiga siasa miaka 5 yote mfululizo. Nchi haiwezi kuendelea mbele. Manake mkiweka nchi katika hali ya campaign, kelele mingi zaidi, kuna kazi inafanyika. Mpaka kuwe na wakati ambaye kazi inafanywa. Alafu baadaye tunarudi tena kwa campaign. Si namna hiyo? Si namna hiyo? Hiyo ndio mimi najua, ndio sababu tunaona baba ako hapa, na mimi nilisema, niliuliza Wakenya kama mnataka niendelee. Wakaniambia endelea. Baba endelee si endelee? Endelee si endelee? Sasa umesikia wamejibu wewe jamaa. Sio wametoa majibu. Sio majibu. Sisi tunajua wakati hili ya kampeni kifika, hiyo wote wanaume jitokeza. Sio lazima Raila simame. Raila vile vile anaweza kukaa nyumbani. Umesema Raila ni mzee sana. Sio unasema Raila ni mzee sana. Baba aendelee si endelee? Akae nyumbani. Akae nyumbani. Asanteni sana. Mungu awabariki.